Hello and welcome back to BravoBricks. Today I'm going to be taking a look at the FunWhole Western freight train released back in 2024 with 1,524 pieces. Yes, it does look similar to the recently released and almost sold out as of the recording of this video, Bricklink Wild West Train. If you're interested in a comparison between the two, I've got a video on that linked in the description. This set me back a whopping $0.00, not because I'm sponsored, but because my wife bought it for me for Christmas. This Western train retails for $90, but good luck finding it that expensive. FunWhole is constantly running sales both on their website and on Amazon. I've seen it as low as 67 doubloons, and right now on Amazon it's being sold for about $80 after taxes. Who knows if they'll continue to run sales all the time because, well,
begun. The Clone War has.
It's got 6 figures, all with unique printing and a backstory that's laid out in the instructions. The set comes with 8 numbered bags. Each bag does contain about 2 to 3 times the amount of pieces that LEGO would typically put in their numbered bags, which creates more of a challenge that I personally like. You also get 3 separately numbered bags that contain parts of the light kit. The instructions do a good job of telling you when you'll need each light kit bag. Build process. I did not record myself building this set, so here is a clip of me building up my damaged relationship with my cat. Do you think we could maybe hang out more? Well, you know what? Fine. Feed yourself. Good luck. For realsies though, this set was a real treat to build for about 99% of it. That leftover 1% frustrated me and challenged me for about 45 minutes until I gave up and then came up with an alternate solution. Now we can jump right in where the problem was because it's here at the front. The steam locomotive. Yes, it's pretty, but let's jump to the problem first, get that out of the way. See these rails that run on both sides of the train? Now, according to the instructions, you are meant to run the light kit cable that connects the hub to this front light here, all the way through this tube. Now, it's not a regular plastic rubberized tube that you would normally see. This one has a slice down the center of it so that you can run the wire through here. If this were a perfect world, here's what the instructions look like. And here's what I look like trying to do it. These FunWhole wires, as with any light kit, are sensitive. They've got to be treated nicely, as you would treat a newborn baby. I really didn't want to damage the wires, so I struggled with this instruction. Maybe a surgeon could have done it, but I'm willing to admit that I couldn't. I could get part of the wire in the hole, but the hole was just too small for me. Hey, yo! I even got a knife and scissors and thought that I could maybe widen the gap to help the wire in the tube. Nope, that just made things worse. The wire through the tube is meant to be concealed as much as possible for aesthetic reasons. Because I couldn't do this, I simply wrapped the wire around the clips behind the tube, and this honestly looks fine. So once you've got that part handled on the set, the rest is pretty much a breeze. And I didn't have any other glaring issues with the set. The locomotive looks great and the color scheme works pretty well for a Western train. The locomotive's wheels are independent on each side, meaning the pistons can move freely and do not have as much tension as, say, the Orient Express, where they were more interconnected. There are 3 light sources here at the front of the train. One is the headlight, the other is the red light representing embers on a fire where coal has been burnt to supply the train with power and get the locomotive moving and grooving. The third and final light is here just outside where the conductor would stand, and it's just a classic looking lamp, nothing too fancy. The smokestack having white curved 2x2 pieces is a nice effect for smoke. Maybe some more could look better, but if you have even more smoke, you end up looking like this lady here. Excuse me, little boy, could I borrow a cigarette? Connecting the train cars rather than the typical magnet system seen with other brands, they've elected to use Technic pieces, with the wiring for the light kit going through the center of each of the Technic pieces, and this scares me for a couple reasons. Number 1 is the disassembly of the train. When you want to, say, move a car off the train or disconnect one particular part of the train, you're going to need to go into the battery hub, pull the wires, and then pull the cords out. The second reason that this scares me is when you need to move the set, you have to move the whole train as one unit because the wires are so interconnected with everything. This is what I look like trying to manage carrying this across the house. It's definitely a con and perhaps an oversight on the design of the train. It just worries me that the wires go from train car to train car like that. I don't know if the solution is to have individual battery packs for the train cars, but that would raise the price of the set, so there's always that trade-off. Or perhaps this is just the setback of a train with a light kit. I don't know. I've never built another train with a light kit, so maybe this is totally normal and I just am seeing it for the first time. Next car down the track is this coal car here. This is what houses the main battery pack, which takes 3 AAA batteries, not included. This includes more printed pieces along the sides. No stickers in this set, by the way. That's always a plus. The green and gold color scheme continues here. This part of the set brings forth another, unfortunately, niche issue. If you are planning on motorizing this set, this particular car is going to prove to be an issue. This car cannot take a turn on a curved track piece, which are Lego compatible, by the way. All 8 wheels are locked, which means that when this train car takes a turn, it's going to pop off the track. And I think this could be easily fixed either if you have the pieces to create a sliding motion, or you could just take out the 2 center wheels. Most people probably aren't going to have those spare pieces around, so just take off the center 2 wheels and you'll be just fine. The good news is that 98% of people purchasing this set, like me, will not be motorizing it and will simply have it on display. The battery pack is hidden under the coal in a very clever way, and it would be easier to motorize this set if you didn't have the battery pack here. So unless you got really creative, you're going to need to choose light kit or a motor to move the train. For me personally, I'm just going to set it on a shelf, turn the light on every once in a while, and that's that. More often, I'm going to have this train on display on a shelf rather than set up a whole train oval or a track system and then move it. So it doesn't make sense for me personally to install a motor system. It makes more sense for me to keep the light kit as is. Next is the freight car hauling wooden logs. This car is the easiest to put together and keeps it very simple. The chains seen here are artificially holding the logs to the train. The logs are built connected to plate pieces that then slot into the car as one big piece. This could be modified simply if you don't like this particular look, which I'm going to show you a little bit later on. The logs themselves don't have any sort of Technic rod through them, just piece-on-piece action. The chains around the logs serve as decoration, unlike the chains my wife has me on. The light kit wire runs throughout this car but doesn't play any large role in the building process of this particular car, and I like this. It's simple and effective. As would be expected, there's no light sources here, but the wire does run underneath the wood.
Did somebody say wood?
Next in line, and the final car on the train, the passenger vehicle. Kind of. Even though the set is called Freight Train, I'm happy that they included a car intended for human travel. The exterior of this car is particularly nice, just like the rest of the set. Absolutely no stickers here, just high quality prints. There are 4 doors on this train car. 2 of them are traditional doors that swing open just like any other door you'd run into in your house. The others are freight doors, just like you'd see in a modern box car. Boop. They slide open and slide closed. With the light on and all the doors open, you can see just how bright the interior light is. All that light is just streaming out like what happens to me after Taco Bell. Each set of wheels spins independently, so you're not going to have any issues with the curved track pieces with this car. Overall, the outside looks great, with the caveat being that it looks a smidgens small, but it seems proportional overall with the rest of the train. There's 2 lights on the outside of this carriage, one towards the front and another towards the back. There's 2 more inside under the roof for a total of 4 lights on this one car. Just like before, the green color here is really appealing. The gold accented with the green is just chef's kiss. Inside the car, there are 2 sections. On one side, we've got an office, on the other, a cargo hold. The office side features the fun chair build and a simple desk, as well as an armoire of sorts. There's prints inside the car that are also well done. On the cargo side, there's cargo.
Wow!
And loot that's ripe for the taking from the bandits. The light on the ceiling, or I should say the lights on the ceiling here, light up this scene very well. The train sits on a row of straight tracks that I originally thought were naked, based on the box art, but it actually has some brown plates and green pieces representing brush or algae or just general plants growing along the track. They could have just included plain tracks and that would have been just fine, but they went the extra mile and added some details here. At the front of the track, we have some more hints of the story that comes with the set. There's some dynamite ready to blow, which also prevents the train from rolling off the front rails, so it both serves as decoration and as a useful element. I hope that this conversation doesn't go off the rails. Nothing like a good old train pun to let off some steam. Okay, if somebody doesn't stop me, I'm afraid to see how this ends up.
Disgusting!
The next and final build of this set is the water tower. Now the tower is built up using lots of 1x1 bricks, which I like to refer to as queso pieces. The brown 1x6 and 1x8 pieces help to strengthen the build, and there's a water reservoir here at the top. You can tell it's water because of this clear blue element here. Swap it out with a fire element, you've got a tower full of Taco Bell's fire sauce. The build features details along the ground like the barrel, baby cacti, an empty chest, and a sack of goodies. This is a solid piece that any train fan or Western fan would be lucky to have in their collection. Does it have some flaws? Yes. Can these flaws be overlooked because the rest of the set looks so good? For the most part, also yes. If you're someone who's going to motorize the set or connect it with your other brick-built trains, this one will prove to be a project, which isn't necessarily a problem. If you didn't like working with bricks and getting creative with it, why are you involved in this hobby in the first place? That sounds mean. But what I'm trying to say is that this is not a build and play system for those wishing to get it moving immediately. You're going to have to put some thought and creativity into it. But please don't let that deter you from this set. As you can very clearly see, the train is gorgeous. The side build looks excellent, and overall it's fun to put together. Excluding the tube, of course. I hope whoever designed that particular instruction has both sides of their pillow warm, and that sounds harsh, but I mean it. The set does come with 6 figures, which is an amount of money that I'm not going to see for a very long time, if ever. There's Tough Tex with the Tony Stank goatee.
Are you Tony Stank?
Next is Bandit Bill with the green coat. Next in line is the Fireman. And according to the instruction, he's just called Fireman. And that is his actual name for the job that he does. I looked it up. The role that he plays is stoking the fire to maintain steam pressure, and then the name for that job in real life is called Fireman, which is something that I didn't know before building the set. So if you want to log on to Indeed and you find a job called Fireman, make sure you read the description because you might not be putting out fires, you might be shoveling coal from the coal car into the locomotive. So just double check before you apply for a job. Also, let me know if they're hiring and how much they pay. After Fireman, we've got Engineer. And the Engineer operates and maintains steam locomotives. He's got a little bit of facial hair, some glasses. What are you looking at, 4 eyes? After that, we have Mr. Richmond, and he also looks quite rich, so his name is very apt. And of course, Mr. Richmond has a lot of money, and that's going to attract a lot of women. So next to Mr. Richmond, we've got Mrs. Richmond. All the prints here are just fine. There's nothing too crazy going on, but they are all unique, and I'm glad that each one comes with a little bit of backstory in the instructions. So nice little bit of storytelling that they do there. On top of this set, you can also buy the Wild West Train Station, a set that I don't have, but if anybody's looking for a birthday present, that would be a lovely option. Overall, I do recommend this set. If you're going to motorize it, just know that you're going to have a little bit of work ahead of you, which is not a big deal. Very, very happy to have this set because it goes with my other Western sets. And there we go. Look at all these friends together. The train, I think, is probably my favorite thing that I've put together when it comes to the end product. But this is FunWhole. So this is not good enough. We got to turn on some lights. Oh, that looks good. Yeah, with all the lights on, this set becomes something truly special. Not just that, but all of it together creates a really beautiful Western scene that I'm very happy to have. I'm also very fortunate to have all these parts. I do want to note that the Arches set right here is not technically from a Western FunWhole set. It's from their, I think it's called Road Trip Stories, their Road Trip series that they've got. And I just put the car over here in my city, and I think it looks pretty good over there. The city is kind of a mess right now, but regardless, I'm really happy to have all of this together. I think it looks lovely. Let me know what you thought of this set. Are you going to be picking it up for yourself? As I mentioned earlier in the video, the chains that are seen here on this logging car are just decoration. There's no actual purpose for them being there, but I do like the look of them. And if you want to make a simple modification to the set, you just pop all those logs off. I'm so sorry. Pop all the logs off and it looks just like this. Now, the problem is when you want to take these off, which is what I'm intending to do, you also lose these. So the goal is have the logs just be free roaming, very similar to how they are on the car on the logging railway from the Bricklink designer set, and just set them here and see whether or not the chains are going to hold them in place. So I'll start by taking off the ends. Now I'm going to reattach the ends that came off on the side to the log that they belong to. And then I'm going to do the same thing on the other side.
And just like that, we've got some loose logs. Now, to put them back on, you have to be careful when you stack them. Have the big ones on the bottom and the small ones on top. And let's see whether or not the chains hold it up still. Now, to me, I think that looks quite a bit better. What do you think? Now, I'm not going to be attaching a motor to it, so I'm not worried about the logs falling off and sliding off. I'm just going to put it on display and call it a day. But for me, I think that looks pretty good. I'm pretty happy with it.
Let me know what you thought of the video down in the comments below. I'll see you next set. Bye-bye.